You know how sometimes the biggest frustrations in our lives feel like they're coming from the outside? A really difficult job, a tough situation, something that just won't bend to our will. But what if? What if the real struggle isn't with the world at all, but with a single thought about the world? Well, today we're going to dive into a simple story about an artisan and a really powerful method for finding clarity right in the middle of that struggle.
Our whole story really kicks off with this one question. It translates to, who are you to tell the mountain how its fiber should be? It's a simple, kind of profound question, right? And it holds the key to everything we're about to explore. So just keep that in the back of your mind as we begin.
All right, let's get into it. First, let's meet our artisan. Her name is Teresa, and our story starts with the daily battle she faces with her craft.
Okay, I want you to picture this. The heavy, oppressive sun of Termas de Río Hondo in Santiago del Estero, Argentina. I mean, the kind of heat that just weighs on you, you know? The kind that makes every single movement feel like an effort. This is Teresa's workshop.
So what does she do? She weaves baskets with these tough, almost rebellious palm and chagua fibers. And believe me, they fight back. Even after years and years of doing this work, her calloused, hardened fingers still bleed from the sheer effort of trying to tame these stubborn strands. And this is where the real struggle was happening. It was all inside this one thought. Life shouldn't be this hard. This material should be more noble. See, she wasn't just fighting the fiber. She was fighting a war against the very nature of reality, expecting the world to hand her silk threads when all it offered was this tough chagua.
But then, one afternoon, while she was resting in the shade, that question we started with came back to her. And in that moment, it changed absolutely everything.
The second she just let go of that thought that work should be easy, this cool wave of relief just washed over her. All that frustration just melted away and was replaced by something totally different: curiosity. She started listening to the plants, learning their language, respecting what they needed. The fiber didn't change, but her entire world did.
Now, Teresa's experience is a beautiful story, but it's not just a story. It actually illustrates a really simple, structured way to question the thoughts that cause us pain. And it's a framework that, well, any of us can use.
This is called the work, and it's a method developed by Byron. It's essentially a meditation, a way to put our stressful beliefs on trial using 4 simple questions, and then turning that original thought completely on its head. It's a super direct way to find out what's really true for you. So how does this actually play out in practice? Let's take these 4 questions and apply them directly to Teresa's core stressful thought.
And here it is again, the one thought that was causing all her suffering. Life, or my work, shouldn't be so difficult.
So the first question is super simple. Is it true? Now, if you asked Teresa, pointing to her bleeding fingers and the broken fibers all over the ground, she would have yelled, "Of course it's true, look at the evidence." Our first answer is almost always a gut reaction, yes.
But then the second question pushes just a little deeper. Can you absolutely know that it's true that life shouldn't be this way? I mean, can you be 100% certain that your plan for the universe, the one where fibers are soft and work is easy, is actually better than reality itself? And this is where a little crack of doubt starts to appear. The answer is often a quiet, humbling no.
Okay, question 3. What happens when you believe that thought? For Teresa, believing it shouldn't be this hard filled her with so much anger and impatience. She'd throw her baskets, feel like a victim of her circumstances. Her hands would tense up, which made her work even worse and caused even more pain. Believing the thought was actually making things harder.
And finally, who would you be without the thought? Well, she'd just be an artisan with some fiber in her hands. She'd be present. She'd see the heat not as a personal attack, but just as a fact to work with. She'd be a creator at peace, looking for solutions like, hey, maybe I should moisten the palm, instead of looking for someone or something to blame.
So we've investigated the thought, but this final step is where the real magic happens. It's called the turnaround, where we literally flip the original statement and see if the opposite might be just as true, or maybe even truer.
This shift is everything. Instead of fighting reality, she finds peace. And the turnaround is what bridges that gap. Instead of saying life is difficult, the turnaround suggests, wait, my thinking is what's difficult. The problem was never the fiber. It was her rigid, unchanging demand that the fiber be something it wasn't.
And what's really cool is that a single thought can blossom into several truthful turnarounds. You can turn it inward, toward yourself. I shouldn't be so hard on myself. You can turn it toward your mind. My thinking is what is difficult.
Or you can flip it to its complete opposite. My work should be difficult. Let's look closer at that last one because each of these holds a really surprising nugget of wisdom.
I mean, think about that last one for a second. Life should be difficult. How could that possibly be true? Well, because if the work were easy, Teresa would never develop the true mastery of an artisan. The resistance, the challenge, the struggle, that is the very thing that polishes her skill, her patience, and her talent.
So what's the big takeaway from Teresa's story? Well, it offers a really powerful invitation for all of us. Ultimately, Teresa's story teaches us that peace isn't found by bending the world to our will or wishing for softer fiber. It's found by ending the war in our own minds. It's about accepting what is, right here, right now, and learning to work with it, not against it.
And that brings us to the final question, which really is for you. When you feel that familiar heat of frustration rising up, what is it really telling you? Are you listening to its invitation to question your thoughts? And maybe, just maybe, to be a little more patient and gentle with yourself?